What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to another video here. We have a full shop today. Second gen's in here, 08's in here, 05 and the first gen are all stuffed in the shop. But today we have actually two installs that we're going to be getting into. Number one being this big hole that we have in the front here. So we're going to fix that today by installing a new, really awesome intercooler from our guys over at Mishimoto. So we're gonna be doing that, and then also have some modifications for the 08. So we're just gonna dive right into it. I actually posted this on my Instagram, the intercooler that we are gonna be running, and somebody asked a great question of what power level would you recommend getting an aftermarket intercooler? So we're really going to be touching on these second gens specifically because that's what we have in front of us. Third gens are a little bit different story, but these second gen factory intercoolers, I mean, you'll get guys that are saying that they've made all the power in the world on a stock intercooler, and that's fine, that's great, but it's definitely not the best option for you. Number one really reason that I've personally experienced is the cores. Let's just show you guys right here. The cores on the factory second gen intercoolers I have found to be really prone to leaking. You guys know on the first gen we actually second gen intercooler swapped our first gen, and I tried to put a factory one in. We actually went through two factory intercoolers, pressure testing them, spraying them down with water. Every single one of them, the cores were leaking right in this general area. For that reason right there is a good reason to upgrade your factory intercooler. If you have maybe a higher mileage truck, an older truck, the intercooler is not really in the best of shape, you probably might be losing a little bit of boost through some of those leaks actually in the core of the intercooler. So second reason is kind of just, I mean, these trucks, when they were built, they were not designed to be withstanding big turbos, high PSI, compound turbos. These trucks were meant to operate at a, probably a measly 30-ish PSI of boost from your factory turbo, and then diesel performance came around and guys started hopping them up, running higher boost, making more, everything, and the factory parts on these trucks were just not designed with the performance in mind that we are pushing these things to. So the actual overall design is just, it's not up to snuff. It's not up to snuff. And this is where an aftermarket intercooler will be able to handle more of the abuse of what you guys are going to throw at it. Last but not least, the third and final reason that I'm going to say an aftermarket intercooler is hands down a better option for your truck, even if it's mildly upgraded, is it is going to do a much better job at reducing the air intake temperature going into your engine. Now, guys that are really high in the competition world, they're monitoring their inlet air temperature and then what the intercooler is actually doing to see the drop in temperature to make sure that their air intake temperature is not too high. Now, something that is small and dinky as this, it's not going to do as good a job when you start making a lot of power, and again, even mildly power. It is going to do a much better job at reducing the air intake temperature. So that is my little spiel on aftermarket intercoolers. I really don't think you need to be making 800 or 900 horsepower to see the benefits of it. And again, you'll get guys that have said that they have made high horsepower on a factory intercooler, and I'm not arguing that by any means, but I'm saying that there are much better options. Enough talking, let's open this. Well, actually, I've already opened it because I was impatient, I couldn't wait, but take a look at this beefy unit. I'm gonna pop this thing out there and actually put it next to your factory one so you can actually see the size difference. Not only, the core is much bigger, the volume is bigger on this thing. This is one of those things where you can actually believe bigger is better. So let's pop this out here and do a little side-by-side comparison. All right, let's do a little measurement test here. Factory intercooler, about 2 inches. Go over here to the Mishimoto. Oh yeah, that is a full inch bigger. So from what that I have read on this second gen application, the volume and the core size 50% bigger. Just a massive literal improvement. So just a overall, just a beautiful piece, and not to mention it will hold up to the abuse. Like I said, it will hold up to more PSI that we're going to be pushing with compounds. a much better actual core design as opposed to what they were coming out with back then for, you know, just a work truck. So let's go ahead and pop this thing in. Honestly, installation on this truck, we don't really have much disassembly to do, honestly. This thing really just kind of slides right into the opening that we have created by taking this thing completely apart when we were painting it. These two bolts right here, these are a 10mm bolt. One here, one there, and then it kind of just sits in these rubber grommets in the front part of this support. And that's pretty much it. That is all we have to do. I did forget one thing before we install this. The other thing that we did opt to get at the same time from Mishimoto is their piping and boot kit as well to go along with the awesome intercooler. So if you look here, this is your factory boot that comes off. It's got a 3.5-inch outlet and actually goes down to 3. It has a 45. Little bit of an odd boot design. But what really stinks about these boots is the fact that they blow out all the time. They were, again, just not meant for a performance application. These things, people have trouble with these things all the time. If you've owned a second gen, you know, you can raise your hand if you've ever had a problem with these specific boots. There's one on each side. What we did is we went for the boot kit, which gives you a much better, higher quality boot. I believe these are at least, let's see if the camera picks it up here. Probably not, but these are, I think, a minimum of a 5-ply boot, maybe even 6. But these are really nice boots, heavy duty, and then of course we went with the nice, look at that, look at the polish. Gotta have a little bling, gotta have a little bling. So boots all the way around, and also really nice clamps. Again, just gonna do a much better job at holding all of the power and all of the boost. All right, so let's pop this thing in. There she is. Boy, does that not look good. Of course we had to go with the black one, of course. And of course we are not running any grill inserts in this thing just because it's the kind of look that I really wanted to kind of go with. So you are going to be able to see that entire thing just poking out. But man, it looks really good. And let me tell you, it is utilizing every bit of space that it can possibly get because that thing is huge. So we probably won't install the intercooler piping just because because we're not using the factory charger, we're gonna have to kind of fab up our own hot side pipe on this specific application. The cold side will work, but we're gonna kind of wrap that up at a later date. We're not gonna really worry about that just quite yet because we have some other stuff. But the other thing that Mishimoto does is not only produce amazing intercooler stuff, catch cans, a lot of stuff, they do radiators as well. Pretty much cooling in general. And I only mention that because our factory radiator, I believe, was leaking on us, and it has definitely seen some better days. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because that catch can was kind of blowing all over the place, this thing is looking a little rough. And the way the rest of this thing looks, how many people think that we now need to kind of up the radiator on this thing? Not only get some better cooling performance, as well, kind of the same story with the intercooler, overall better design, better cooling. I think we're gonna need one of those for this truck as well. But I am super pleased with the way that this just kind of completes the whole picture. And I know that when we start making some big power with this thing, because that is ultimately the plan, it is going to handle it extremely well. So that's pretty much it for the Mishimoto install. If you guys want, I will put the link down below to go check out that intercooler for the second gens. But moving on, the 08. The 08 is in here because we got some towing coming up. So we need to make sure we put our airbags back in this thing because it still does not have airbags, and this thing tends to squat a little bit with the Thurin rear leafs. So what we've had issues with is, now that the rear end is a little taller, these airbags don't meet the factory mounts. Now, I got with the guys over at Thurin, and this is what they recommended. I kind of already did like a dry test fit, and I know everything works really well. So what they recommended and what they sell are these little hockey pucks from Daystar. Basically what they do is, instead of your airbag, where it normally attaches to the plate on the bottom, so the top and the bottom are both kind of always attached, so therefore your suspension is kind of limited on travel, these things, when you air up, just kind of sit right inside there. So if you actually start to articulate, this will actually pick up out of the puck. This never actually gets permanently attached. When you squat or when you need to air up, it just kind of self-centers itself right in there. So this mounts to the bottom of the axle, this mounts to the top of the perch, and kind of just sits right in there. So we're gonna go ahead and install these real quick, and I'll show you guys exactly what they look like when we're done. Really, the install should take maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but this is what we're gonna need to be able to run airbags on a bigger suspension lifted truck. So maybe this picture will maybe show you just a little bit better. We are done with the install, but as you can see, airbag mounted up top. This guy probably has a little bit bigger lift than even I have, but you can kind of see there's a gap between the bag and the cradle. So when you actually start squatting, it's going to come in contact with that. Kind of same concept. You can see airline mounted up top, right underneath here. Airbag is not really hard mounted. That way if the suspension flexes, you know, mine is kind of nice because it's actually kind of already like centered in there all the time. If I happen to move a little bit, it's going to kind of go right back in there. So it's really just taking up a little bit of that gap. You can kind of see right here as well. Same thing. It's already sitting in the cradle. But if we do decide to, you know, Baja 5000 this thing, you know, we won't be sacrificing any of our suspension travel, is what I was trying to say. So airbags back in this thing, which makes me feel so much better because we do use this thing for work all the time, and not having any airbags, this thing was definitely squatting a little bit here and there. It's a little windy closing out this video. So that is pretty much gonna wrap up this video, guys. Really quick, I know Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Wrenchworks.com, we are doing free shipping the entire weekend. I believe it's Friday through Monday, I believe. Allie's setting all it up right now. The code is Memorial, so if you guys, any of the new stuff that just came out, the Wrench Race Repeat, all of the new t-shirts, the first gen t-shirts that we have, the whole entire website has free shipping on it, so make sure you guys take advantage of that. Head on over there after the video. I will place the links for all of the Mishimoto stuff down below for the second gen intercooler, and also the Thurin airbag Daystar coil pucks. I keep trying to call them hockey pucks, but I'll leave the links down below for that stuff, and that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Hit the like button if you guys are excited, because the next video is a new engine. We will be out at Freedom Racing Engines picking up a brand new engine. We'll go into all of that. There's a lot of explaining to be done, but that is the next video to come out. So make sure you guys hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next one very, very soon.